here with Andrew Thornton, and he has brought some amazing fabric book pages for part of a collaborative journal, right?
Yeah, it started off as a project for 6 different artists to work together. We start off as I do samples of all the different techniques and keep them together in one place, and a friend saw it and offered to swap, and that's how it started.
So cool. Now you're starting obviously with fabric, with canvas.
Yeah, and all of the projects start off with the same piece of canvas, and it's literally a blank canvas. So that's how we get started.
Cool.
What I'm going to do first to get going is to hem the side, and I'm just putting a simple zigzag stitch along the edge, and this will help the canvas from fraying as we
work with it, which is such a smart idea.
Yeah, and this really started as kind of like a sampler, an old-fashioned sampler kind of cross between that and artist trading cards, but on a little bit larger scale.
I was going to say, you get so much more real estate with this as opposed to an artist trading card.
Yeah. And I like it. So what we're going to do is set grommets. And the grommets are great because they're kind of like the universal binder between all the project pieces. All of the pieces have all the grommets. So all of the pieces will read horizontally. And also you can hang these on the wall. You can put them in different books. You can swap them. You can.
Great for making a banner, super easy. Just put a string through them. You can string them all up, sort of Day of the Dead style, as if they're little flags or something.
Flag. So what I'm going to do is take a grommet, and I'm going to take a pen and just mark out the inner core. If you don't have a die that's specifically this shape, I use a hole punch and kind of just eat away at the inside of the hole.
So you're going to use a smaller hole punch and just kind of, I mean, for lack of a better term, you were actually saying it, eat it away. You just kind of perforate all over the place.
Yeah, you just chew it up, and that gives it kind of the indentation. And I'm going to take the scissors and give it a little bit of a haircut, and that way it's a perfect little circle.
Perfect.
And so we're going to take the grommet, and there's 2 pieces to the grommet, and there's the bottom, which we slip on, and we're going to put the top on. And now here's the grommet setter, and it's also a 2-part. You're gonna place that on there. Now before you get going, you wanna make sure that you're standing up and that you can really pound it, because if you're sitting down, you might not have enough torque. Also, you wanna make sure that if you're on a table that isn't super sturdy, that you're on the post of the table, because that way you'll get the most bang for your buck, literally.
I was gonna say, totally literally.
Also, you'll wanna put something hard down, like a steel bench block, and the steel bench block will help it hammer flat. So I'm going to use this big kind of hardware hammer. Don't use your jeweler hammers. They're just not strong enough or heavy enough. This is a steel head and is plenty hard. All right, you can hammer this a little flatter. If you do, sometimes this will get stuck and you just pry it loose.
And how do you know when it's set?
It will be completely flush to the surface of the canvas.
I see, you have one there that is. Now I know there's a step before we can actually start talking about that canvas, right?
And also, if you can't find grommets, which you can find grommets and flags, but they'll call it an extra large eyelet.
Cool, so take me down now through what we're doing here.
Okay, so we've got our prepared canvas, and we put just a light layer of gesso. And to get this effect, what we're going to do is just take a little bit of acrylic paint and some water and just kind of loosely give it a wash. And you'll just do this wash, and it'll soak through, and it will kind of give it a...
So the gesso is giving the canvas tooth, and it's giving it some weight, and it's making so the paint will spread across, and then I get to have a part in this, right?
Yeah.
I get to dump the salt. Super exciting. That's probably too much salt, but you know.
A little too much, but that's okay. And then I just kind of loosely drew an image with this
I love the soft, sketchy look of it. Like you're not worried about your lines being perfect.
Yeah, and I think that you get to bring out those kind of shapes by going in and getting this kind of opaque pops of color in shapes and solids. And it's kind of like a Kandinsky in his kind of abstract and kind of loose kind of poetry of different shapes moving together. And what you'll do is, if you don't want to have that solid, you can take this and dilute it and start at one edge and take the water and wash it in, and what you'll do is create a gradiated effect.
You know what I find so interesting is you work with such a small, fine brush.
That really gets into do some details. With this piece, if you're going to do the total color, you'll want to use a much larger brush, and then you can get more coverage.
Cool. And now I know that we have some samples here that I've seen of stuff where you've really taken some time to work on it. And if I just flip through this book really quickly, I can see what you mean about all these different areas that are in, and I like that you left some areas blank. Did you want to say anything about any of these pieces?
They're portraits, and but these started out really as quick studies of different techniques. And so I would use washes of color, different products, and I would keep these as a journal and kind of use that as a guide for my bigger, more substantial pieces.
To remember what you did. And now I know that this piece is a very different style than yours.
That's Keisha Davini, and she's an artist out of New Jersey. And she has a much more exuberant, kind of more flamboyant style. And she's doing some thread pieces, and there's fringe and photo transfers. And one of the things you want to do is you can spend a lot of time creating these pieces, but you also want to make it so that when you trade, you know, one person doesn't get too much. She's also kind of went outside of the box and added the fringe, and the fringe is kind of a nice element.
I think that's so neat. And now we're looking at another artist's work, Lynn Suprak, who's also part of this collaboration.
Yeah, she's one of the 6, and we're all going to trade pieces.
Oh, you guys are so lucky. I feel a little bit jealous.